language arts teacher and author of Lucia Chronicles. Today's video is going to be a brief one. I know I'm kind of on an every other week sort of rotation right now, but I'm back to teaching full-time for with kids for 2 weeks and back for 3 weeks, and I'm working on a manuscript to send in to an editor, polishing it up. So been kind of busy on top of all the other things that are going on with just life in general. So I wanted to take a second to talk about reluctant readers and a strategy that you can use for reluctant readers, but also that you can use for enriching your reader. If your reader tends to be at a higher Lexile level, or tends to be, maybe on the gifted range or whatever. So this year I have a group of 4 students that are in an enrichment period, and one of the things they told me they wanted to do, and I asked, well, what are the kind of things that you want to do? They come up with things like learning more about grammar, writing creatively, they wanted to read a graphic novel, they want to do a research project, and I only have them for 9 weeks. So we spent the first week, doing that kind of stuff, writing creatively and doing Kahoot, which I have another video that includes Kahoot as an instructional strategy, I believe for vocabulary. But you can check that out, it's on my channel. And so I decided to start in the second full week with a graphic novel. And I've never read A Wrinkle in Time. Well, I started to when I was younger, and I didn't like science fiction, so I stopped, which is ironic because now I write science fiction and fantasy. So I decided that I thought that was an age-appropriate book. The Lexile isn't super high, but it was really hard to find a graphic novel that wasn't, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, or for example, our middle-of-the-road book for summer reading, Lexile, was Doodlebug, which for enrichment kids, it just wasn't going to be quite challenging enough, but I didn't want to do anything that had too many questionable topics. Now, A Wrinkle in Time does deal with some religious connotations, and some explicit religious text is quoted, but it deals a lot with just light versus dark and good versus evil, and kind of figuring out who you are, where you fit in, and accepting our differences. And that's all just in book 1. I believe it's a 5-book series, and I'm actually reading the novel now because I decided there's a graphic novel version, and I decided to use the graphic novel version with my students in my enrichment class. And I mention it as a strategy for reluctant readers using a graphic novel because the pictures sometimes are a little less daunting, even though there's also text. So I thought this book was amazing. It's adapted by Hope Larson, and I got it from the library, so this is one of my library copies that I have. And it's done really simplistically in like blue, whites, and blacks. And I hadn't read the book, but I have a student teacher this semester, and she had read the novel A Wrinkle in Time, and she said it was very consistent. And just within the first few pages of the novel version, because I just started it today, I can see that consistency. Hope Larson did a great job of translating and adapting to a graphic novel. The book, the graphic novel version, also has a very high rating for Goodreads, and if you know anything about Goodreads, you know that people are kind of stingy on the rating sometimes with books and are very critical. And this has a high rating, so I thought that was pretty impressive. But I overheard my enrichment kids, they were reading on the rug, and I was reading too with them, like at my desk though, and they were reading in the reading area, and I heard them saying things like, this might be my favorite book ever, and this book is so great, it's so much fun to read it. Oh, just wait till you get to the good part. And as a language arts teacher, or even as a parent, which I'm not, but I can imagine that would be like music to your ears. So I think graphic novels are a great way. I can't wait till we finish this. I found some teacher curriculum that has some journal entries for personal connections, about overcoming challenges, and thinking about the bigger picture, like, does good always overcome evil? There were some great pre-reading strategies in there, and I can't wait to do a final project with them on that book. But I was very excited when I finished it yesterday that I wanted to share it after overhearing my students talk about it, which I'm not sure if they realized I was listening. But it was a very positive thing. Another thing I discovered while I was looking for a graphic novel for them, which I was thinking of doing, is long ago I read The City of Ember, and it's since been adapted into a movie, but apparently it's also been made into a graphic novel version. So graphic novels, they're not just comic books. They have depth to them. Sometimes they have multiple plot lines. They have text that supplements the pictures, but true graphic novels are twofold. They serve two purposes. They can help reluctant readers, but they can also offer a chance for enriching to, I could take a higher level book and challenge kids. This one I didn't choose a higher level book based on Lexile because I believe A Wrinkle in Time is somewhere between a 3rd and 5th grade Lexile, but I chose it because I knew one, science fiction is a category besides like Hunger Games and all that, which is kind of dystopian, which is its whole own thing sort of, and like Maze Runner. But I chose it because it's got questionable topics when you bring in religion and light and dark and good versus evil and all of that kind of stuff. And I just thought that, and people who are way different than us or drastically different than us, and I thought that, and not to mention time travel, but I thought that that was a good book for pushing the depth of the kids I have in my enrichment class. So graphic novels can help reluctant readers, but they could also offer enrichment to readers who are above grade level and need a little extra challenge. So that's my thought on graphic novels. Do you have any opinions on graphic novels? Do you use them in your classroom? If so, let me know in the comments below. Maybe let me know ones that you have found successful in your classroom or ones that you like. And I'm not really talking like Diary of a Wimpy Kid, or like Bone is pretty much a graphic novel, but I'm talking like, classics being adapted into graphic novels and things like that. So that's all I have for you today. Graphic novels, use them in your classroom. In the meanwhile, happy reading and happy writing.